Hiya, it's Stu here from Petals on the Paving Slabs, and earlier this year I was lucky enough to see these king penguins in the Falkland Islands, so I've made a video about them with a little bit of educational material in there too. I hope you enjoy it. This particular king penguin colony is at a place called Volunteer Point, which is about a 3-hour drive north of Port Stanley on the island of East Falkland. But I've got to be honest, I didn't drive there from Port Stanley. Instead, I saved up my money and I got a helicopter flight which took me straight there because I didn't have a vehicle when I was in the Falklands. It's not like I've got a rock and roll lifestyle or anything, getting helicoptered around. It's just pure practicality. I didn't have a car. So at this particular king penguin colony at Volunteer Point, it's thought that there's around about 1,000 adult birds, and that every year they produce 400 to 500 baby penguins. Over the last few years, the size of the king penguin colony at Volunteer Point has been increasing, and it's thought the reason for this is overcrowding on South Georgia. And these penguins are pretty much at the northern edge of the extent of how far they range. We normally prefer to stay in more southerly, colder waters closer to Antarctica. Out of all the types of penguins that you can find on the Falkland Islands, the king penguin is the largest, with a typical weight of around about 13 kilograms. So it's a pretty good job they don't fly, really. Could you imagine something that heavy flying at your face? Right, breeding. They'll stay on land as chicks in something called a creche. And when they're on land, the adults pretty much take it in turns between the male and the female parent. One will go into the sea on foraging trips to bring food back, while the other one stays behind and looks after the chicks. The chicks are the fluffy dark brown smaller birds that you can see. Got those little babies. Even though there was wind noise, I did leave the background volume up in the first part of this particular clip so that you could hear the noises that the adults and the chicks made. The adults are the ones that are like going, ah, 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 and the chicks are the very high-pitched tweets. Listen out for them. King penguins don't make nests to lay their eggs in. They'll just literally pop an egg out where they're standing, and then they incubate it by holding the egg off the floor on the feet and underneath the rolls of flab on the belly to keep it at a steady temperature. Normally takes about 55 days for an egg to incubate before it hatches. And then after hatching, for about the next 30 to 40 days, the tiny little chicks are also held on the adult's feet until they grow some proper feathers and they start to be able to fend for themselves a bit more. Right then, random poo fact. These white lines you can see on the grass is penguin poo. They lift up the tail and it comes squirting out the back really, really fast. Right, I actually came to this place, Volunteer Point, because I wanted to see a few more plants, but this is miles better than plants. Look at this. King penguins, oh yeah. So the full breeding period from conception to hatching to a chick being large enough to be classed as a juvenile when it can go out into the sea on its own, it takes more than a year. But once a chick has reached that juvenile stage where it is old enough to go to the sea by itself, it can it'll stay out at sea for roughly about 3 years, and then in the 4th or 5th year it'll come back to where it was born, and it'll, you know, well, you know the rest, don't you? When a mummy penguin meets a daddy penguin, they get together, and the rest they say, well, I'll let you use your imagination. These are adult king penguins, which are coming back up the beach out of the sea on the return from a foraging trip. When they're in the sea, they can dive of depths between 150 and 300 metres to search for food. And the kind of things that they eat are the small bioluminescent lanternfish, and they also eat some types of squid. When they do these deep dives of between 150 and 300 metres deep, that's normally at night when it's dark, so there's less predators. I've turned the background volume on this clip down really low because the wind was just, you have to go there and experience it to fully know what a Falkland Island wind is really like. So what was happening is I was at the top of the dunes, and a couple of metres in front of me the dunes dropped away, and unbeknownst to me there was all these penguins coming up the dunes, and they kind of like snuck up on me. So I crouched down, make myself less threatening, and I just kept rolling, and I was so lucky that they all just walked around me. It was amazing. Oh, you are beautiful. You are absolutely beautiful. Oh my word. Oh yes. Ever wondered what a penguin walking in slow motion looks like? Normal speed again, and yep, they're still amazing. If you're new to my channel, I normally do videos about gardening, but if I've been out and about places and I've filmed something that I think is sort of related to nature or wildlife or plants, I'll post it on here. So thank you for watching this video about king penguins in the Falkland Islands. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not click on that like button? Thanks very much.